After fighting for half a century to dismantle the protections Roe provided, anti-choice activists successfully won a Supreme Court ruling ending a woman's right to choose. And they are now saying that they want to do more to restrict access to reproductive health care. Already, since the Dobbs decision, about 20 states have passed total bans or pre-viability bans on abortion. Courts are currently blocking those laws in several states. In some states, though, even though there is no ban in force, there is still no access to abortion because no clinics are operating. If you think we are living in a post-Roe balkanized landscape, you might be right. But what will it mean for American life if those fissures deepen? Anti-abortion advocates would like to see a federal ban like the one Senator Lindsey Graham introduced in September. In the context of a post-Roe America and an uncertain national landscape, pro-choice groups are finding new ways to try and reverse some of the damage done by the Dobbs decision. This week, a group of religious leaders filed a religious freedom lawsuit opposing Missouri's abortion ban. The groups claim that lawmakers who invoked their own religious beliefs while drafting the bill, that they violated religious freedom provisions in the state constitution. For 50 years, the anti-abortion movement has been finding creative ways to stifle access to the medical procedure. And now the other side is fighting back with its own very novel strategy. Joining us now is Nancy Northrop, President and CEO of the Center for Reproductive Rights. Nancy, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
It's a hard day to think about Roe. I think it's probably always a hard day, but especially in the context of the last year. The Missouri lawsuit is different, and people seem to be very excited about the possibility of this in terms of clawing some rights back for women who've lost an essential freedom. How do you see the lawsuit?
Well, before we talk about the Missouri lawsuit, let's just start, because we are at this precipice of the Roe anniversary, with the fact that this is the first time in 50 years where women do not have the right to make decisions in 12 states where abortion is totally banned under threat of criminal prosecution. And so I'm sitting here at this Roe anniversary thinking about some things that are quite chilling, which we have to pay attention to, but some things that are, in fact, heartening. And I think the lawsuit filed in Missouri is one of those things. We are seeing states find protections for reproductive rights that didn't exist before. So I think it's an interesting lawsuit. They are suing under the state constitution, which is what we've been doing in a lot of places across the country. And they're saying that Missouri basically has established religion, and that the state constitution's bar against establishing religion means that their abortion ban must fall.
It's religious leaders saying you are bringing religion into the state where none should exist, basically arguing separation of church and state.
That's right.
What about the national ban? I mean, when Lindsey Graham first proposed it, it was met with the room was not that filled with applause, shall we say. Other Republicans thought that it was best decided on the state level, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Do you think there is a chance that Republicans actually move forward with this in Congress?
Oh, I would not underestimate anything that might happen with respect to a national ban. I mean, the thing that is chilling, that is on my mind, is the fact that this is not the end. They've made it clear that it's not the end. A nationwide ban is what they are going for. And one of the ways, yes, introducing in Congress, they don't have the votes there right now. The president would veto anything. But they're trying to block access to to medical abortion across the country. So a lawsuit was filed in Texas, which seeks to reverse the decision that the FDA made in 2000, approving medication abortion, that's the abortion pills, and they want to try to ban that nationwide, which would mean in California, in New York. And medication abortion is the way that more than half the women get their abortions in America today.
I was going to ask, that seems to be the procedure that many women, especially in states where there is no access to reproductive choice, that is how they are exerting their own bodily autonomy. Do you have a sense of the increase in medication abortions in a post-Dobbs landscape?
Well, I think we don't have all the numbers yet. It was already more than half before the Dobbs decision. And in states where there isn't access to abortion, and people without the means to get out of the state have to take care of themselves in the state. So I think we're going to get the data on what's happening, but the attempts to try to block medication abortion nationwide should be attended to. And that lawsuit is going on right now in the state of Texas.
I just wonder, I mean, you know, I put nothing past the House Republican caucus, but the fact that they started off the Congress with abortion measures that were not federal bans, they were inventions for problems that don't exist, but they had the word abortion in them. And it seemed like they were trying to placate the hardliners in the pro-life movement. Is there anything that can be done short of a cold bucket of water at the polls that you think could dissuade Republicans in the House from trying to move forward on a federal ban?
Well, I mean, I think we are beginning to see how much the fact that the voters have been so clear. We've always known that the vast majority of Americans support the right to access abortion care, and we saw it at the polls, of course, again and again since Dobbs was overturned. We saw it in Kansas, we saw it in Kentucky, we saw it in Michigan, we saw it throughout the country. And so I think that is going to have some mitigating effect. But the reality is we need to get the rights back. Yeah. And that's what we're working so hard on in these strategies to get state constitutions to recognize the right to reproductive autonomy, and we have that now in Michigan, California, and Vermont. That language didn't exist before in any constitution. Yes. Reproductive autonomy and reproductive freedom is now the language in those states' constitutions, and also doing it through the courts. South Carolina Supreme Court just recently recognized the right to abortion in South Carolina under its constitution and its right to privacy.
So 2 steps backwards and some certain number of steps forward, in a sense, because some of these rights have finally been enshrined. They're not zombie laws from the late 1800s and 1930s that
Absolutely. I think in the end of the day, they're going to rue the day that they reversed Roe versus Wade because the rights are going to be stronger.
Waking a sleeping giant. Nancy Northrup, President and CEO of the Center for Reproductive Rights. Thanks so much for joining me tonight, Nancy.
Thank you.